Good morning to all of you. Today we are going to start the fourth chapter of geography, that is agriculture. Now the term agriculture is not a new term for you. You already have studied about this before also. So let us study that what do we have, what topics related to agriculture do we have in this chapter. Some facts about Indian agriculture. You know that since ancient times, agriculture has been the foundation of Indian economy. And even today also, more than half of our population is engaged either in agriculture or they are engaged in other activities which are related to agriculture. Here you can see this is a big agricultural land. And here, the main aim of agriculture is to provide food to the growing population. But beside this, agriculture also provide raw material for various agro-based industries. For example, for cotton textile industry, it provides raw cotton. For various food processing industries, it provides raw material in the form of, you can say, fruits for making jams, then mango, chilies for making pickle, then tomatoes for making ketchups, etc. It also provides jute as raw material to various handicraft industries. So agriculture not only provide food to the growing population, but it also support a large number of industries. All right. So with the introduction of machines, different types of chemical fertilizers and research for better farming techniques, farming methods in India have been changed over a lot of years. And accordingly, we have three types of farming practice. We have subsistence farm, primitive subsistence farming, intensive subsistence farming, and commercial farming. So now we will study about them in detail one by one. First of all, let us come to primitive subsistence farming. Now, what is primitive subsistence farming? Primitive, as the name suggests, it is the oldest system of cultivation which is practiced in India. And in this system, the farmers, they work on small land holdings and they use hand tools like hoes and digging sticks. I'll show you the picture. These are the pictures of hoes and digging stick. These are the manual tools which are used by the farmers. Here, in this type of farming, the entire family works in the field to produce an output. It means that no laborers are hired here. Workers are not employed. The family of a father together, the family of the farmer together works in the field on the small piece of land. And the most important thing is that the crops are not market oriented. It means that the farmers, they produce crops for their own consumption, but not for selling in the market. So all the family members together work in the field to produce crops for themselves, not for selling in the market. And it involves hard manual labor. You can see the family members, they are working in the farm. Now within primitive, you can see here, these are the main features of primitive subsistence farming. It is practiced on small patches of land with the help of primitive tools like hoe, dowel, and digging sticks, and family community labor for self-consumption. This type of farming depends upon monsoon, natural fertility of the soil, and suitability of other environmental conditions to the crops grown. It means that here very less irrigation methods are used, and pesticides, chemical fertilizers are not used. So the farmers, they mostly depend on monsoon, and they also depend upon the natural fertility of the soil. Now, within primitive subsistence farming, we have slash and burn agriculture. Now, what is slash and burn agriculture? As the name suggests, slash means to cut down, and burn, you all know the meaning of it. So what happens in this type of agriculture? Just look at the picture. First of all, a small patch of land is selected, which is covered with forest. Okay, a patch of land is selected that is covered with forest. Now all the trees are cut down. So deforestation is done on that particular piece of land that has been selected. Later on, these trees which were cut down, which were slashed down, they were burned. After burning, the residue that is left behind, that is ash. This ash will mix up with the soil to make it fertile. And now on this fertile piece of land, farming has to be done. The farmers sow seeds, and after few months, you can see crops on this small piece of land which was initially covered by forest. So this is what slash and burn agriculture is, where a small piece of land is taken which is covered with forest. All the trees are cut down and these trees are burnt, and after burning, the residue left, that is ash, it will mix up with the soil to make it fertile. On this fertile piece of land, we will grow crops. Now, slash and burn agriculture is also known as shifting cultivation. Why it is known as shifting cultivation? Because the farmers will cultivate this piece of land for a period of 3 to 4 years. They will cultivate it for 3 to 4 years. And after that, since they are not using any modern know-how, they are not using chemical fertilizers, etc. So within 3 to 4 years, the soil will lose its fertility. It will become unfit for cultivation. Therefore, the farmers would leave this piece of land fallow for a period of 15 to 16 years so that natural forces can act on it, the soil become fertile, and natural forests grow over there. Meanwhile, the farmers will move further in search of another piece of land where they would repeat the same process. That is why it is known as shifting cultivation, because cultivation is not done at a particular place, but the farmers, they keep moving from one place to another. They cultivate a piece of land, then keep it fallow for many years. They move further, search another piece of land and repeat the process. So this is what slash and burn agriculture or shifting cultivation is. Slash and burn farming is a form of shifting agriculture, a method of agriculture in which existing vegetation is cut down and burnt off before new seeds are sown, typically used as a method for clearing forest land for farming. Now, what are the disadvantages of it? The first disadvantage, as you have already studied, lot of destruction to the forest is done. So destruction of forest is the first disadvantage. The second disadvantage is that it is done on not a very large piece of land. So basically the yield is poor because we are not using any modern farming method. Old system of farming is used, and that too on small piece of land. So the yield is very poor. So these are the two disadvantages. You can see the land after the forests were cut down. Now, shifting cultivation or slash and burn agriculture is practiced all over India and is known by different names. The most common name of shifting cultivation is jhuming. it is known in the eastern part of India. In eastern part of India, it is known as jhuming, whereas in other parts of India, it is known by different names. As you can see that in Orissa, it is known as Pamadabi. Then you can see in Andhra Pradesh, it is known as Deepa. Then you can see in Madhya Pradesh, it is known as Bewar. So it is known by different names at different places. At Chhattisgarh, it is known as Deepa. So different names are given at different places. So it is not only practiced in India, but it is practiced all over the world. In Mexico, and again, it is known by different names. In Mexico, it is known as milpa. Venezuela, it is conuco. Brazil, it is roca, etc. So from both point of view, you have to learn all these different names of shifting cultivation or slash and burn type of agriculture. Then let us come to the next, that is intensive subsistence farming. We have already studied about primitive subsistence farming. Now we will study about intensive subsistence farming. What is intensive subsistence farming? It is basically, this type of farming practice is basically followed in densely populated parts of India, like Punjab, Haryana, Western Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, etc. And it is labor intensive. We have studied that in primitive subsistence farming, the laborers are not employed, the family members, they work in the field. But in intensive subsistence farming, more and more laborers are employed. Many laborers work on small piece of land and they use pesticides, chemical fertilizers, then irrigation facilities, etc. So in nutshell, you can say that the farmers have to produce high from limited land. The farmers do not have big land holdings, they have small land holdings on which they have to produce maximum crops. And therefore, they use all the available resources that they have. Pesticides, chemical fertilizers, irrigation facilities, etc. Here, the crops which are produced are used by the family and the surplus are sold in the market. So the crops produced are used by the family for their consumption and the surplus crops are sold in the market. In this type of agriculture, there is high pressure on the land, because from a small piece of land, high production or high yield has to be obtained. So there is a very high pressure on the limited piece of land that we have. Now, land holdings here are basically small. This is because of law of inheritance. Now, according to law of inheritance, farmlands, they get repeatedly divided among successive generation of farmers. And in this way, a large land is reduced to a small land which is owned individually. As you can see on the screen, this is a very large piece of land which is owned by a farmer, but the farmer has 3 sons. So he has to divide this land between his 3 sons. So a large land holding is getting divided into smaller parts. So this happened generation after generation, due to which large land holdings were reduced into small land holdings. So till now we have studied about primitive subsistence farming and intensive subsistence farming. I hope it is clear to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.